Hey guys, it's Silver Snorlax, and I am back today with a huge stack of PSA graded cards. This is PSA Returns Round 17. Round 17 is probably one of the more interesting rounds that I've had come back on this channel. Round 17 itself was kind of an interesting thing. There are a couple of different things about Round 17 that made it so interesting, and those are actually things I'm going to cover at the start of this video before I actually start to break down the cards themselves and start to go over who got what. So, started off, like I mentioned, it's a huge round. It is actually the second largest round ever submitted on this channel. It's 76 cards. I submitted 4 cards to that, so that's, even if I hadn't submitted 4, that's still the second largest round on this channel. The largest round ever submitted on this channel was 80 cards, so it was very, very close to taking the top spot in terms of large rounds. Additionally, something else I think is interesting, I had just a single user, that would be Thorgene right here, that's his order right there. That's probably the largest individual order I've had that's part of a group submission. Generally, well, not generally, but in the past, I've done private submissions that were, maybe 150 cards or 50 cards or whatever the case may be. This is the largest individual submission I've had. It was about 30 some, if I remember right. I don't quite remember the exact number, but it was very high. So that was something that was interesting. Additionally, this is one of the only rounds that has what's called qualifiers, and I'm going to be talking about qualifiers more when we get to that point, but that is something to keep in the back of your minds here. It's the first time I've actually had the chance to talk about qualifiers on this channel, so stick around. We'll definitely get to it. If not this video, we'll get into it in another video, which will likely be the case. Let's see. Last thing that made this round so interesting, probably the most interesting thing that PSA did to me, is they sent this round back a staggering 6 weeks ahead of time. Generally, our turnaround times are based off business days. 50 business days is generally the estimate now. That's very standard. And they sent this back on day 24, I believe, business day 24. So it was way, way faster than it should have been. It was impressive, and PSA did a fantastic job of wiping out my bank account in the process. I didn't plan on paying that bill for a solid 6 weeks, but not that it's a big deal. Everything's all set and ready to go on my end. So now that I've rambled long enough, I think we can actually go ahead and get into the cards and kind of showcase and break down what everybody got. I'll start with my round, or my submission. Like I said, I only had 4 cards. I had a couple I wanted to send. Skamori EX came back as Gem Mint 10 for me. Have a lot of luck pulling these EXs for some odd reason. I don't get a whole lot of full arts, but when I do, I definitely get happy and submit them right away. So this is one of the ones that went out right away. Skamori coming back strong for me. Next couple I submitted, I had Melota EX. That's from Radiant Collection. That's a Mint 9. See all that shine right there. Venusaur EX came back as a Mint 9, half art there from Pokemon X and Y. That's the base. And last card I had to submit, full art. I love my full arts. This is Yveltal EX. That's the Mint 9. So I was kind of hoping for a 10 on this one because I love the full art so much, but I'll take a 9 any day. So cool stuff from me. Let's go ahead and break down the rest of the order here and show what everybody got. First one is Danielle Milici. I believe that's how that's pronounced. He sent a couple of cards. The first one was a Dark Blastoise, Mint 9. That's a first edition holographic card. Beautiful. I'm a big fan of the Rocket set, so I love a lot of the artwork that's involved with it. That's a good card for him. And he also sent a Mega Blastoise EX, something a little more modern. Gem Mint 10, beautiful. I love that. How they do the writing, how they kind of switch it up between the Japanese and the English sets. This is written in Japanese, and in the Japanese set that is written in English. I forget what it actually says, but it's cool how they actually did that artwork. They flipped it a little bit. Next up, TheTradingCarder, who sent a couple of times before. Unfortunately, he sent 3 cards, but only 2 of them came back graded. I'll show you the card that did not come back graded. This was the card that he had submitted. This was a Bandai card, and if you watched PSA round 16, you'll notice that he actually had sent other Bandai cards that were in fact graded. So he was a little confused as far as to why this didn't come back graded, and what I've determined now that I have it here in front of me is this card is actually from a different set, or at least it should be, as the printing pattern on the background isn't quite what it was with round 16. Definitely looks like it's from a different set. So when that's the case, if PSA has no way to authenticate that or say yes, that's definitely from this set, or if it's a card that was printed in another language, like Korean for example, that's a big one, they won't grade the card because they have no real way to authenticate it. And that's what PSA does more than anything else, more than grading, is they do the authentication. That's a big part of the deal when you actually submit to PSA. So unfortunately this one will not be graded, but it's still a nice looking card. I mean, I really like a lot of the old artwork on there, the Mewtwo, the Blastoise. I love that stuff. That's got Gen 1 written all over it. I love how that looks. A lot of nostalgia there for me as well. So unfortunately no grade there, but he was lucky enough to have two cards come back pretty strong for him. First one being a non-holographic Dark Blastoise, first edition, came back as a Gen Mint 10. Like I said before, big fan of the Rocket set. And Venusaur EX, this is the full art, English, Mint 9. So a couple of cards coming back strong for him. Moving right along, got Chopped and Sectioned. Sent a lot of different stuff, some cool stuff here. Started off with an English version, Kyogre Gold Star. This came back as a Mint 9. Card I am envious of. I would love to get this card in a Gem Mint 10. I can never seem to get it even when it comes up at auction. This is just Pikachu from Black and White base. This was the secret rare. Near Mint 8 Shining Celebi. This is an unlimited version, but regardless, it's still a shining card from Neo Destiny, which is awesome. Something we see fairly typically from Plasma Storm. This is a Mint 9 Blastoise. A lot of Mint 9 Blastoise running around, so very common to see here. This card I like quite a bit. I love how this Charizard is actually highlighted on that little picture frame right there. This is a reverse foil from Secret Wonders. Came back as a Mint 9. This card, Charizard from Expedition. This one is a Mint 9. I've seen this card a number of times. It's very, very popular. I know a lot of people tend to submit it. So, hey, happy to add another one on video here. Articuno EX, Plasma Storm. This is a Mint 9 full art. Actually in pretty good shape as far as some of the full arts that came out of Plasma Storm. Centered better than a lot of them too, which is interesting, as a lot of these cards, Plasma Storm, Plasma Gale, not the best centering on the face of the planet, but this one's actually got a lot of eye appeal to it, so I think that's a great card. And last one was Chansey EX. Sometimes I refer to these cards as lowercase EXs, as you'll notice where it says EX at the top, it's in fact lowercase. A lot of the more modern cards are capitalized EXs. So my own little special way I refer to these as lowercase EXs, but I don't get a ton of these. I've noticed they're a little more popular these days. I don't know if they're coming back necessarily, but I do see more lowercase EX cards, E-Series, that's another thing, E-Series EX cards that are coming up either online and occasionally through submissions. So it's nice to see these. It's a kind of a different kind of card. I like having this stuff on my channel. Alright, who's next? Here we go, we'll do MTL Baller. He's been submitting with me for a while. He's got some cool stuff. He sent all Yu-Gi-Oh! This time around. He's got some really nice stuff. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I used to play when I was younger, and he's got some awesome cards here. So we'll start it off with Harpy, I believe that's pronounced Chandler, near Mint 8, that's what it came back as. It's great. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! Artwork more than anything else because of those holographic backgrounds they use. They're so colorful. You can actually see how I play with it in the light a little bit. There's red, there's blue, there's green, there's yellow. There's all kinds of stuff going on with that card. It's great. Same deal with this one. It's the Harpy Dancer. Came back as a Mint 9 as well. I'll kind of zoom up a little bit on the artwork so you guys can see it. Harpy Queen. Same deal on the artwork. Same deal with the holographic background. I love it. I think it's fantastic. Elegant Egotist. If you catch this thing in the right light, it's just, oh wow. There's just so much color involved. The card artwork itself is very plain. It's just kind of a simple pattern, but the way I'm holding it in the light, both on and off camera, like there's just a lot of sheen to it, and it's very overpowering. It's beautiful. And last one, probably the card I like the most. This was a Harpy's Pet Dragon. This came back as a mint 9 form, first edition card as well. Awesome, awesome card. Love that dragon. Awesome artwork. That's the thing I love the most about Yu-Gi-Oh cards when they do come through, and I don't see them too often, but I actually had quite a bit this order, is that the artwork is generally very, very superior to what I normally see with cards that come through. So I think that's cool. Last submission I have for this video will in fact be broken down to at least 3 parts, so you guys can watch all of it. You'll see them about a day apart. This last submission came from Larry Flores. I believe that's how that's pronounced. Flores, one of the two. He submitted a bunch of gold stars, which we'll go over now. Japanese Miracle Crystal Gold Star Alakazam. Probably one of my favorite gold stars ever is the Metagross. I love how shiny Metagross looks. Metagross is one of my favorite Pokemon, as a matter of fact. I played with Metagross in-game a couple times and just absolutely fallen in love with the Pokemon. I love Metagross. Groudon, Gold Star, Gem Mint 10, great card. Kyogre, one of my favorite Pokemon as well as Kyogre. Gem Mint 10 Gold Star here, Japanese version. Gem Mint 10, this is the full art Venusaur, first edition, Japanese version. I believe I forget what it's called, Japanese XY, it must be called XY base. But there we go, XY, first edition too, yep, first edition. And finally the last 2 cards he submitted were full art Blastoise, both Japanese, both came back as Gem Mint 10s. So really cool cards there as well. So before I end this video, I'll say this like I do in all of my videos. I do group submissions year round, so if you guys are watching these videos and thinking to yourself, you know, I'd like to have my own cards encapsulated and graded, please feel free to contact me. That's done all the time. I'm always accepting submissions, so you can be part of a video such as this. Very cool stuff, definitely, that I had come through just in this part alone, and we're going to actually go over more of that in the next couple of videos. So links are down below in the description if you want to get into contact with any of the people with the cards I just showcased, as a lot of these guys do try to sell and trade their cards, so I always like to kind of drop a mention of that as well. But aside from that, I think that does it for part 1 of round 17 returns. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and keep your eyes open for parts 2 and 3.